Hey, what's going on guys? Fitz here and welcome to another Torchlight 3 video. Today I'll share my build for the Forge class using the Electrode Relic. I like to call this build the Lightning God. I played this build entirely on the highest difficulty called Ridiculous, so this will work on any difficulty that you prefer. And without further ado, let's get into it. The Lightning God will electrocute and wipe out bosses and elite monsters in just a matter of seconds. This is a melee build focused on charging the relic energy fast and then casting our ultimate ability called the 1000-volt burst. Here's how I will discuss this build. Timestamps will be in the video description if you want to jump to a specific subject. You'll have 70 skill points once you reach the maximum level. These are all the skills that I have learned. Keep in mind that I am using two pieces of the Legendarium Mountain King set. The Mountain King's Helm gives +1 skill level to the entire Brawl skills tree, while the Mountain King's Cuirass gives +1 skill level to the entire Barrage skill tree. You can equip the set items or slot them in your Legendarium. You can pause the video if you need more time to look at the skill points distribution. This is how I selected my skills when I started this build. My main attack skill is Rapid Fire for the early levels. Get the movement skill Ramming Robot once you unlock it at level 5. Then upgrade Localized Storm to tier 1 as soon as you can. Once you reach level 15, it's important that you learn Sonic Pulse to make enemies take more damage. Then, once you reach level 20, refund all points from Rapid Strike and put them into Cyclone mode. And learn our ultimate ability, 1000-volt burst. For levels 21 and above, focus on maxing out Cyclone mode, then upgrade Localized Storm, and then 1000-volt burst. At this point, you will be very strong even if you don't have any legendary items equipped. And this is how I set up my hotkeys or skill bar when I'm playing my Lightning God Forged. I prefer to have the keys that I use often closer to each other. If you want to change the shortcut keys, just go to the options menu, then key bindings. Now, before we go into the skill details, I just want to say that my previous build guide was a bit long, so I wanted to make this guide shorter without removing important information. I will focus on the main skills. I'll still explain why I chose the skills and demonstrate them. If you're interested in my previous build guide, the Hellfire Railmaster, the link will be in the video description. Now, let's take a look at the skills that I have selected. Vent Co-Launch. If you're playing Forged, you need at least one vent skill. You can learn this at level 5 and it will vent all heat you have accumulated after attacking continuously. Use the vent skill at 75% heat for maximum damage. This is a range AoE attack. It will damage all enemies in the area of effect for 6 seconds. Sonic Pulse. When you activate this skill, it will weaken enemies caught in the area of effect. It will increase all damage against them by 40% for 6 seconds. Localized Storm. This is our Relic skill and is one of our main sources of damage. You can activate this skill as long as you have enough Relic energy. You want to activate this skill all the time as it increases your allies' damage by 25% and movement speed by 10%. This will also charge our ultimate ability. Shocking Display. This is a passive skill that will give you a chance to release shock bolts when you slay a shocked enemy. This will have more impact later once you have learned the other skills. Lightning Barrier. This is our shield. It gives us 25% additional block chance for 6 seconds while periodically releasing shock bolts at nearby enemies. You want to upgrade this to tier 2 so that the shield will last 50% longer. Tingling Sensation. This passive skill works well with Cyclone mode. Since you are constantly hitting enemies while you spin, you get more chances to shock enemies and deal additional damage. Lightning Strike. Another great passive skill that works well with Cyclone mode. Every time you hit a shocked enemy, there's a 10% chance to call a lightning strike. 1000 Volt Burst. This is our ultimate ability. Most bosses and elite monsters will die in just a few seconds after activating this skill. The only time they won't die is when they didn't get hit by the skill due to skill placement, or if the dungeon has multiple enemy health bonuses. Pair this skill with the Sonic Pulse for an additional 40% damage and watch your enemies melt. This skill should be maxed out. Energizer. Since we are heavy on relic energy usage, this is a must. Upgrade this to the max level. Vent Vortex Bomb. Another vent skill for our build. It has a 6-second cooldown on level 6. The other vent skill that we learned earlier, called Cold Launch, it has an 8-second cooldown. You will alternate between these two skills. You'll accumulate heat very fast while using Cyclone mode, so we need another vent skill. This will pull enemies towards you, stunning and blasting them with an explosion. And you get double armor bonus for a few seconds. Always vent at 75% heat for maximum damage. Upgrade this skill to tier 2 to get the 20% damage reduction in melee combat. Ramming Robot. This is our only movement skill. You will use this a lot. You use this to get to places faster, initiate encounters, and escape dangerous situations. Upgrade this to tier 2 to get the additional charge and 10% additional damage to relic skills. Power Projection. Since we are always in the thick of combat, this is an invaluable skill. Activating the skill will grant you and your allies 50% bonus defense in the area of effect. Upgrading this skill will increase the duration. Upgrade this to tier 1 to get the heal bonus. This has saved me so many times when I was surrounded and my ramming robot and potion were on cooldown. Cyclone mode. This is our bread and butter. This is our main attack skill since we don't have or don't use any basic attacks. You spin through enemies, dealing damage per second. You'll accumulate heat very fast while using this skill, so vent at 75% heat for maximum damage using Cold Launch or Vortex Bomb. Upgrade this skill to the max. The tier 1 bonus, this skill will use less heat. Tier 2 bonus, your brawl skills have a chance to heal you on hit. And the tier 3 bonus, you explode every second while channeling this skill. Now let's take a look at the Legendarium. Basically, you can equip 3 more additional legendary powers aside from the ones that you are wearing. So the first one that I have here is the Mountain King's Gauntlets. It's optional for our build, but I really like it because every time we vent at 75% or more heat, we gain the overheated status, which increases our critical chance by 10% for 10 seconds. Now the next two here are actually required. The Mountain King's Helm and the Mountain King's Cuirass. So basically it's either you slot them in your Legendarium or you wear them in your equipment. This will give us one skill level to the entire Brawl skills tree, and the other one will give us one skill level to the entire Barrage skill tree. Now let's take a look at the equipment that I'm using. So currently these are my equipment. Obviously I don't have the ideal equipment right now, but I'm gonna tell you what are the items that I would like to have. For the weapon, this is what I'm using. But if you actually get a level 60 Bone Razor, then this is my ideal weapon. The only reason why I'm not using it is because of its low base damage. So if you get about 5000 base damage for Bone Razor, then I suggest that you use it. So if you're using Bone Razor, then you pair it with the Bone Blocker Shield because they complement each other. Now the other alternate weapon is the Wide Loads Cave Breaker. Now this is actually a very good weapon if you actually have the Mountain King set equipped, then you can slot this in your Legendarium. Basically on hit, every time you hit the enemy, which is a lot because you're spinning, you gain a 10% chance to drop stalactites, and that deals 30% weapon damage in an area. Alright, so this is the helm that I'm using. If you have the Mountain King's helm, then I suggest that you wear it. And then this is the shoulders. It's a very good shoulder equipment, so basically wear this if you have it. Now this is an optional chest gun. It basically gives us another source of damage. So every time you vent above 75% heat, then you trigger a secondary heat wave dealing 400% weapon damage. This is the chest that I'm using. I suggest you wear the Mountain King's Keras if you have it. This is the gloves that I was wearing. If you actually have a level 60 Mountain King's gauntlets, then wear this instead. This is the shield that I was using. If you're using the Bone Razor, then I suggest you use the Bone Blocker. This is the hatch that I'm using. We're actually not using this active skill that we get. It's for another build. But if you get a level 60 arc powered hatch, then I suggest that you use it because it's another source of damage every time you block, which is a lot. As you can see, currently I have 40% block chance because I'm using a shield plus with my equipment, and later on the skills, then we will trigger this often. So basically you have 10% chance to zap nearby enemies, dealing 250% weapon damage. Now for the local motion, then there's actually no requirement here. I don't recommend that you use the Mountain King's wheel because every time you vent, you gain 25% heat, and we don't want that because we want to keep spinning. This is actually used for a different build. Let's say you're focused on coal launch or vortex bomb or another vent skill, then this is what you're going to use. But for our build, we actually don't need it. Alright, so those are the items that I'm using for this particular build. Again, I don't have the most optimal items as you can see, but it's already very powerful. So this build is actually gonna get stronger once I get the items that I want. Now that you have seen the build, it's time to put it to test. I'm going to do a complete Fazeer's dungeon run. Just a quick reminder, if you enjoyed this video, you can click the like button. We do appreciate it, and maybe consider subscribing. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.